Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay. And today we're going to talk about American politics. And we're going to talk about an astonishing truth, in my humble opinion, released by Marc Dunkelman, who is a fellow at the Brown University's Watson Institute. And he just wrote a book called Who Killed Progress? Why Does Nothing Work? And basically what he said is, who's responsible for this? So, who's responsible for this calcified bureaucratic nightmare that government has become? And why is Donald Trump getting away with all these outrageous shenanigans, just firing people pell-mell, completely recrafting or destroying entire departments, and acting like an American king, and not being stopped? Why is he getting away with this, right? And the reality is he answered it. And what's astonishing is this is a Democrat saying that the Democrats are 100% responsible for all these problems. It's incredible what he said, in my humble opinion. So let me break down. So first of all, he said this on Slate Political Gabfest. He was talking to Emily Maslin, John Dickerson, and David Plotz, right? So he comes on and he says, John Dickerson says this. He's like, yeah, we before going into Trump, government was a calcified bureaucratic nightmare. It was just horrible, right? And nothing could get done. And Marc Dunkelman comes in and he says, yes, that's absolutely correct. Nothing can get done. He said, like, let me give you an example. He's like, in the 30s, they needed to wire up all these farms for like telegraph, right? And make sure that farms could get telegraphs that would pass from one farm to the next. And the government came in and they did it in like months, right? Like literally thousands of farms all across the United States did it effortlessly, right? Now, like Biden, they invested $5 billion to build EV chargers, and they built 58 before he was finished, right, in 3 years, right? $5 billion for 50 EV chargers, for not even 60 EV chargers, right? Like, like that's millions per, right? Like that's tens, like almost 100 million per. They did nothing with the money, right? And it was just a calcified bureaucratic nightmare, right? And those two examples, there's 1,000 examples on both sides. There's 1,000 examples where before the 1950s, government would just sweep in and do things very quickly, very effectively. Now, nothing can get done. Obama said there are no shovel-ready projects, right? We can embed, and you see this everywhere. I'm fascinated by one in California, right? California invested $78 billion to build a high-speed train. They built 15 miles of track. You want to go real fast on 15 miles of track, right? And everybody was like, where did $78 billion go, right? It was so bad that the second season of True Detective was all about people who got murdered because all the money disappeared, right? It was so bad, right? And so basically Marc Dunkelman comes in and says, why is this, right? Now, this is the wild part. If some Republican comes along, right, and says, oh, well, it's the Democrats' fault, nobody's going to listen, right? Nobody cares. They're like, oh, well, of course you're a Republican. You're going to say this is the problem of the Democrats. This is a Democrat coming in and saying, this dude works for Brown University. You don't get more Democrat than that. That is progressive, liberal Democrat to the nth degree, right? And he's like, this is our fault. And you're like, what? He's like, yeah, what we did was, since the 1950s, we have taken a sledgehammer to executive authority and made sure that there were so many checks to get it to a powerful person being able to do anything that no powerful person could do anything until Donald Trump, right? Now, this is the part that Marc didn't talk about, right? He explained why Donald Trump is getting away with all this. People are like, and Donald Trump has completely flipped the script, right? Before, everybody was like, what? Every Democrat in the country was like, well, of course, we weren't able to do anything because you can't do anything. Who can do anything? You can't do anything, right? You really can't do anything. Well, who can do anything, right? And then Donald Trump comes over and just starts like crashing through walls, and he's going so fast, changing things so fast, overthrowing stuff so quickly and so powerfully that literally the mainstream media can't even cover it at the pace he's doing it. They can't even talk about it at the pace he's doing it, right? And that's Steve O'Bannon. That's Steve Bannon, right? Like, I know this dude who knows a ton about politics, more than me. And he was talking to me about Steve Bannon. I'm like, what are you talking about, Steve Bannon? That guy doesn't matter, right? He went to prison. Steve Bannon's flood the zone has completely changed. Like, and Americans no longer believe it. They no longer believe that the government needs to be a calcified bureaucratic nightmare. They're like, I don't care what you're doing. If you're able to do something, I'm in. I don't care what you're even doing, right? You're just proving that it's possible to do something. And hey, I am here for your newsletter. I'm signing up, right? And that's what's happening. And this guy is like this, and this is all happening because Democrats purposely broke down executive authority. And now Donald Trump has come through and said executive authority is everything, and I'm going to use it to do everything. And I'm going to do it so fast you can't even talk about it as quickly as I'm doing it. That's astounding. That is absolutely astounding. And you are living in a massive historical moment where American government has changed so dramatically that it's cooked in the book. It's cooked in the book, baby. It's done. Okay, I'm telling you, it is done. Right? We've reached this point where it's just everything is happening so fast that this is where we've arrived. There's no way around what's happening. Like it is. And Marc Dunkelman, a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, works for Brown University. Come on, like that's your Democrat Pokemon badge right there. Like, you don't get more Democrat than working for Brown University, right? Like, he's saying this is all our fault. This is all our fault. Donald Trump is able to get away with everything he's getting away with because we made things so much worse that people are so sick of what we did that they're more than eager to sign up for change, for this massive change. And so that is incredible. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.